All right, PA football news. I'm Lindsey Bennett. We're here with head coach of the Troy Trojans, Jimmy Smith. Gonna ask him a few questions today. Here we are, you're 12-0 facing Southern Columbia, possibly the biggest game in the history of Troy football. How do you steer this ship and keep the team focused on everyone doing their job?
It's easier said than done. There's a lot of pressures that come with a game like this, with a program like this. But we've taken a step forward and gave ourselves an opportunity to play in a game like this. I think it benefits us as we played this team a year ago. We had a really super young team with 5 freshmen and a bunch of sophomores playing a year ago. They're a whole different team. They're confident, and I know that they feel like they have the talent to compete with their talent. And you hit the nail on the head. It's the big focus will be is every individual not worrying about what's going on around them, but doing their job, and that'll be the focus in practice this week.
Yep. What's it like in the locker room this week, going to a huge game like this? What is the atmosphere of the kids?
Well, I think the kids know that it's do or die. We have 13 seniors. They've got big goals, and they're going to lay it all out on the line. There's going to be a lot of emotion. There's going to be a lot of excitement, and I'm really excited to see what it's going to be like, because I don't think we've played our best football yet. And they've been sort of looking forward to this game, and in many ways I feel like we've looked past some opponents, and that's never good. And they won't be looking past Southern Columbia.
Like you said, you're playing the best football of the season. You seem to be peaking at the right time. How is the status of the team, health-wise, focus, attitude, passion of the game?
Well, I think the attitude of the team is really high right now. Getting into this final game hasn't something that we've been able to do since 2013. I think they're super focused. And there's a lot going on right now. Locally, you have the change of the sports seasons. We have a lot of kids wrestle or play basketball. You have the hunting seasons that we're big into it. So there's a lot of distractions that we're dealing with. But we have our eyes on Southern Columbia, and I expect a great week of practice this week.
Mm-hmm. You're in a position every coach dreams of, being 12-0 with a great team, playing for the District 4 title, facing one of the premier small school teams in the whole country. How do you keep that in perspective as far as the team is concerned?
Well, it's what you just hit the nail on the head. They're not just the premier school in the state. They're one of the premier small schools in the country. There's no question about it. And most teams lose, when they get off the bus and they see these guys in uniform. Just the thought of them, is worth 7 to 14 points on the scoreboard for most teams. We're aware of that. These are things that we've talked about. I feel like we're in a great position athletically. I feel like the strength of our team, we have good size, we have great speed, we're strong everywhere, and if there's ever a Troy team that has the opportunity to compete or beat a Southern Columbia, it's this year. And we're going to be positive about that. And we know what we're up against, but we're not kneeling to them. And we're just going to be positive and focused, and we're going to go in there with the same game plan as we do every week, and that's to beat our opponent.
This may be one of the biggest games the Troy Trojans will ever play. What would you like to say to the community and the fans for the great support the Troy Trojans always seem to have every year?
Yeah, we don't have a lot here in Troy. We ran our fairgrounds. We don't have all the nicest things comparatively to everywhere else we go, but we get a great showing. I expect several thousand people this week, not just from our town, but the local area that will be supporting us. And this game is a lot bigger than us. This is about us representing everybody else, and I feel it's an honor to be able to do that. This is a rare time in Troy history. I think this is maybe one of the biggest games Troy football has held. Not 6-time state champion coming to Troy. and we're #1 seed, and we've earned that. And I feel like we will be the best team that they've played, and I don't think it's even close. And you know, so they're going to be tested as well, and we're going to be confident and go play the best brand of football we can this Friday.
That's great. If you were to give advice to the youth football players that come watch every game, hoping someday they will be out there, what would your advice be to them little guys?
My advice to the little guys is to keep at it, get better every day. You either get better or worse. Joe Paterno used to say that with every practice. You don't stay the same. And take the time that you have in practice to get better. The other thing I would tell them is the team before the individual. Throw all the stats out the window. I'd rather be a winner than have great stats. And being a part of the group that we had this year, you know, there's a lot of really ridiculous stats that we could have put up had we wanted to, and we've really kind of evenly distributed it out. And I think that team concept is something that, if you look at Southern Columbia, that's held them together for years and years and years.
Absolutely.
As well.
Yep.
You know, they could lead in all kinds of categories, but they don't either. And I think it's something everybody should learn from, and developing the kids underneath the starters and getting them as much time as you can is how you build a program. And that team concept is something that I think it's important to keep.
Mm-hmm. Being 16 weeks in this season, it's got to be a strain on the coaches' families. You guys have spent more time with the kids than you have your own families most of the time, and I know because I've coached, I know how much time it consumes. What are the coaches and you guys all thinking at this point in the season? You guys must be salivating and saying, "Man, we've worked so hard to get here. Now let's make it a great run."
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not easy. The work-life balance. We all have jobs outside of this. That's, you know, and now, you know, with the time change and everything, it's difficult to get your daily work done and, you know, get practice in, and the family time is out the window for over 6 months, and that's a lot of stress. And I'm really fortunate right now as a dad, having 2 boys on the team, but my family's sacrificed dearly without their husband and father for, you know, multiple seasons now, and it's not easy. So this is an opportunity that we have, you know, to make all these sacrifices worth it. Mm-hmm. And you know, we've talked to the kids about opportunity a lot, and opportunity only comes around every once in a while, and that doesn't mean opportunity is easy. And but we have to take advantage of this opportunity, stay focused, do everything that we have to do, so win or lose, we don't have regrets the next day or the next 30 years.
Absolutely.
I think that's the whole key to life, is living it with no regrets, and I think that's the key to football 20 years down the road, is going, well, I did everything I could. And as long as I feel like we can say that for the most part, it's a successful season.
All right, well, for PA Football News, I'd like to say thanks for the interview, and hopefully we'll be interviewing you next week before your next big game.
Thanks, Lindy. Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks for the coverage. You guys do a great job. We don't get a whole lot of coverage up here in the Northern Tier, and I think it's great for the kids when they're in a situation like this and deserve it.
Absolutely, I agree. Good
Thank
seeing you,
you.
Jimmy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.